to KBLA, and I love the commercials. I know what the commercials mean. Also, if I'm looking and trying to figure something out, I need something to talk to me that might hit me. And it happens on TV because, every time they show a sporting event, they got the pharmaceutical companies back to back to back telling people how to fix the sickness on the same stuff that they sell them. So we get it.
Yep, we get it too, Chuck D. And that's why at KBLA Talk 1580, we don't black down.
Drop it! Our freedom of speech is freedom of death. We got to fight the powers that be. Fight the power! Fight the power! Fight the power!
Shine, flies, no time to waste while it's passing you by. Shine, flies, be patient, 'cause good things happen in time. We gon' get it right, we gon' get it right, we gon' get it right. We gon' get it right.
Protests and anthems, yes, we chanting. A movement of people, it's like we dancing to the ministry of. It's the energy of, in memory of them that we love. The trinity of the people, the peace, the power, the truth. We speak the powers even louder. We can say it blacker, we can say it prouder. A woman vice president that went to Howard. Now we talk helping black businesses, and our differences is magnificent. Bringing light to the point where the prisons is. I was told good life is where forgiveness lives. The ascension is to leave what's left behind and feed the seeds with deeds that bless the mind, caress the mind, and question justify. With you and God in time, I best align.
Shine, flies.
You are listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. I'm your host and White House correspondent, Dr. DeCordeli Corte, reporting for duty. I'm in touch until you be in touch. Be sure to follow me on all the social media platforms at Dr. DeCordeli. All you got to do is type in Dr. NeQ, and there I am, fresh for you to follow. Also, be sure to download the KBLA app. If you haven't already, go ahead and do that. Download the KBLA app to listen to us live or on demand, or simply tell Alexa to play KBLA Talk 1580. There we are for your listening pleasure. Last but not least, subscribe to A More Perfect Union podcast powered by KBLA Talk 1580, and you'll never miss an episode. And we got some solid episodes that you don't want to miss. In fact, you might want to catch up on them. While we're talking about staying in touch, be sure to come out and celebrate with us, won't you, already? Our KBLA Talk 1580 4th anniversary event is fast approaching, and seating at all four, count them, 4 of our special events, it's getting tight. Have you registered at our KBLA1580.com website? Well, if not, let me encourage you to stop and do it right now so that you don't get left out. It's our 4th anniversary, and we want to celebrate with you. And if you're planning on joining us for our 4th anniversary celebration and barbecue on the Juneteenth holiday, we're asking everyone to bring a food gift, a food gift card of any amount for the victims of the Altadena fire. Grocery store chain or restaurants, we're grateful for whatever you can bring to help the families that are still displaced by the wildfire. So go to our KBLA1580.com website right now and sign up for the events that you plan to attend. Remember, all of our anniversary events are free, but seating is limited. So you got to register. Thanks in advance for doing just that. Now, it's time for our national news roundup. It's time for the good, bad, and ugly headlines of the day. Kicking us off, Elon Musk with a plot twist, not even a week after leaving the White House. Elon Musk, he threw President Trump quite the plot twist today. Quite the plot twist. Folks in these DC streets are talking about it. They might even be talking about it on a street near you. Musk calls Trump's bill an abomination as their public rift widens. The New York Times is reporting that Elon Musk lashed out today against the far-reaching Republican bill intended to enact President Trump's domestic policy agenda, posting on X that it was, quote, a disgusting abomination and telling House members who voted for it, you know you did wrong. The tech billionaire criticized the bill, one of Mr. Trump's top priorities, in a series of about 10 posts. In them, Mr. Musk reshared commentary from lawmakers like Senator Rand Paul of Kentucky and Mike Lee of Utah, two Republicans who had sided with him in opposing the rising U.S. deficit. Representative Scott Perry, a Republican of Pennsylvania and a member of the ultra-conservative House Freedom Caucus, said that he agreed with Musk's criticism of the Republican domestic policy bill, even though Perry voted to pass it. Trying to have it both ways. We see you, Representative Perry. Perry was among several fiscal hawks and conservative hardliners who ended up voting for the bill after threatening to withhold support of it. After that did not work out so well. In a social media post, Perry said he wished he had a nickel for every time the Freedom Caucus sounded the alarm and nobody listened, only to find out the hard way were right all along. And so it's unclear what this means in terms of passage of that signature piece of legislation that President Trump and his allies on Capitol Hill have invested so much political capital in passing. But Elon Musk, not mincing words, will continue to keep you posted. In other news, the Boulder attack suspect's wife and 5 children have been taken into ICE custody. USA Today is reporting that the wife and 5 children of the suspect in the fiery assault on pro-Jewish demonstrators in Boulder, Colorado, have been detained by immigration officials and are facing immediate deportation. That's according to the Trump administration. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem confirmed in a social media post that Mohammed Sabri Solomon's family members are in the custody of Immigration and Customs enforcement officials. She said, quotes, "The terrorists will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. We are investigating to what extent his family knew about this heinous attack, if they had knowledge of it, or if they provided support." Solomon is a native of Egypt who lives in Colorado Springs. He's accused of attacking a weekly Run for Their Lives demonstration on Sunday. 12 people, ages 52 to 88, suffered burns ranging from serious to minor. 2 remain hospitalized. And in the latest news coming out of the Diddy trial, NBC News is reporting that LA hotel security supervisor and former CFO for Combs record label testified today. This is what we know so far in the sex trafficking trial. Prosecutors began today by calling Eddie Garcia to the witness stand. Garcia worked as a security supervisor at the LA hotel where Combs was filmed attacking his then girlfriend, Ventura. This was in March 2016. Garcia said that he received $100,000 for himself and 2 other employees for helping Combs keep the video under wraps. Derek Ferguson, the former chief financial officer of Combs Enterprises, also testified about his time working for the mogul from 1998 to 2017. Prosecutors showed financial records that Combs' bank account, including a $20,000 wire transfer from Ventura's father. December 23rd, 2011, Ventura's mother previously testified that Combs demanded the family pay $20,000 to keep him from releasing sexually explicit videos of Ventura. This is some of the latest coming from the Diddy trial. We will continue to keep our eye on that. But when we come forward, I'm really looking forward to talking to this brother who has been through it. There are a lot of brothers out there who have been entangled with the justice system, particularly in family court, brothers that are doing right by their kids. And somehow, some way, the system is keeping them apart from their kids. We're going to talk to the father of the famed internet duo, the Hurt Twins, as he's fighting for custody after a judge says that his children were exploited. We're going to get the full scoop here and get an update on the state of his case. You are listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580.
You're listening to A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. You ready?
Somebody make some noise in this joint.
KBLA Talk 1580 celebrates its 4th anniversary this year on Juneteenth.
Here we go again.
Hard to believe 4 years has gone by so fast.
Oh my God.
But here we are, still standing, still loving and serving our people as best we can.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
To celebrate our 4th anniversary, we have 4 big events, and you're invited to all of them.
She got a lot to say.
Let's do this.
Let's get it on! On Wednesday, June 18th, we go live on C-SPAN for the 2nd consecutive year with our Climate Justice Plus Black Health Symposium. Tavis Smiley will moderate an all-star panel of thinkers and influencers as we continue our vitally important climate justice work.
Hey, Tavis Smiley, talk about.
On Thursday, June 19th, you're invited to join us as we celebrate Juneteenth and our 4th anniversary. There will be plenty of food, fun, great music, good vibes, and all of your favorite KBLA Talk 1580 hosts will be there.
Yeah, man.
Flip the beat. On Saturday, June 21st, there are 2 big events you're invited to attend.
I can't wait to hear it.
This year, KBLA Talk 1580 continues its annual partnership with the Empowerment Congress for a community celebration and dialogue to educate, engage, and empower. This year's theme is resilience in the face of chaos.
Can't wait to see what's up next.
Y'all ain't ready for this.
And new this year is our State of Black Women in Los Angeles Symposium, moderated by Dominique DePrima, with a luncheon to follow. Dominique will be leading a dialogue with some of the most impactful Black women leaders in Los Angeles, and you're invited to join.
This is it.
All of these events are free, but seating is limited, so you must register in advance at our KBLA1580.com website, where you can find all the details you need about each event.
Check it out.
It's our 4th anniversary, and we would love to celebrate it with you.
I love you guys so much. There's nothing you can do about it.
We're KBLA Talk 1580.
The only black talk radio station west of the Mississippi.
Thank you for having our black.
Happy anniversary, KBLA!
We love you. Love you.
It's been said that when someone you love has Parkinson's, you have Parkinson's.
The Parkinson's Foundation knows that the disease doesn't just affect the diagnosed. It affects everyone who supports and helps care for them.
If you have questions, the Parkinson's Foundation has answers.
We can help you understand the disease
and give you tips for living a better life.
Find your answers at parkinson.org or call 1-800-473-4636. The Parkinson's Foundation. Better lives together.
Febreze. As a rideshare driver, I love keeping my car smelling fresh and clean. So when I'm driving, I only trust Febreze car vent clips, featuring 3 distinct intensity settings, because it's that little touch that sets me apart. I can turn the intensity down for subtle freshness, or I can turn it up for when I want lots of scent. So whether it's set to low, medium, or high, with Febreze car, I know my car's going to smell amazing. Which keeps my driver rating right where it belongs. Picking up, Oscar!
Hit me.
National News: The Consequence. Informed opinion.
An analysis beyond the headlines.
You're listening to A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580.
You are listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. I'm Dr. Nicolai Corte, and really delighted to welcome this brother to the show. We know that Father's Day is right around the corner. This month, people celebrating Pride Month, Black Music Month, Juneteenth. Well, folks are also celebrating Father's Day. And for some folks, it is a bittersweet holiday because they're not spending it with their kids, at least after Father's Day, before Father's Day. They're not spending that same kind of time with their kids. And so I wanted to lift up some of the stories of folks that are finding this Father's Day to be a little bit more challenging than they had hoped. Joining me here is Jaron Hurt Sr. Of Maryland. He is the father of twin boys. If you enjoy social media as much as I do, then I'm sure you've seen the Hurt twins, pair of twins, just living their life with their dad, documented on social media. Who knew that by documenting those videos, that it would become the subject of a custody dispute. WUSA 9 reporting that those viral videos were cited in a custody dispute between Hurt and his former partner. After a 5-day hearing, Baltimore County Circuit Court Judge Nancy Purpura awarded custody of the twins to their mother, and he limited Hurt's visitation to 1 day a week in a supervised location. Judge Purpura, in her opinion, said that Hurt's judgment was alarmingly poor. She said that Hurt maintained a strong relationship with his children, but she said it was fraught with exploitation, which is not in the best interest and presents a danger to their safety. Hurt denied the claims made by the judge. And joining us right here, Jaron Hurt, to make it even plainer than that. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you for giving me, let me be on your platform. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. And so, I sort of set the table here so that our audience is familiar as to what's going on. What is the current state of your case, your fight to win back custody of your twin boys?
I haven't seen my sons in 292 days. When Dr. Rashard Ritchie and WSA 9 did the story on us, the judge was recused, and I had raised the funds to get another attorney. And we stepped into the courtroom, and the judge said for the mom and myself to stay seated. He called both of the attorneys up, and he said he was awarding the mother full custody. He said the previous judge had found me in contempt because they still found videos of my sons online, which we had over 1 billion views. I couldn't, contact certain, news companies or internet people and tell them to remove them. So, of course, they were going to still find videos online. So they gave the mother full custody. My attorney argued that there was new circumstances, that this was illegal, that he had to listen because, he never heard the case at all. And he told the attorney if I wanted to see my sons to appeal his ruling. And he was going to write a order that day. And now it's been almost 10 months and I still haven't seen my sons. I call my sons daily for the last 2 months. I call them daily and I haven't spoken to them over 2 months now.
That's got to be gut-wrenching. I mean, for anybody who has seen videos on social media of you with your twin boys, I mean, part of what caught my attention was like, wow, it was very unique to see the father of these twin boys, right? Yeah. And they're just living their everyday lives, right?
Yeah. And that was the thing, because our stuff wasn't scripted. This was something, a family tradition where we have thousands upon VHS tapes. And I was just uploading those memories for, my family. And then that's when the pandemic hit and I became a single father and it just blew up. We went viral. And it was just like, hey, now I taught myself how to put music in the videos and edit the videos. And it gave us a whole different life. I was able to put my sons in Gilman School, the 6th best school in the country, move into an affluent neighborhood, and give my sons the best that they could ever ask for.
Now, one of the central issues here is that the online videos of the children and the income that was earned from those videos apparently played a central role in the judge's decision, at least according to court records. We know that while some of the videos showed the children engaged in typical play, others described in court showed the children in sensitive situations like medical appointments. Is that accurate? Is that true?
No, see, that's the thing about family court. It's not like criminal court. Criminal court, you have due process. In family court, you have what's called the judge's opinion or discretion. There's the same way, people go and make a video at the Cancer Society or something like that. My sons had hydronephrosis, and we made a video of my sons, leaving. So it basically had a problem with their kidneys, both of them. And this was my first time leaving one of my sons alone, taking him to an appointment. And he knew that they were going to be apart for 2 to 3 days. So we recorded some of it, like going into the hospital, talking to the nurse. There was nothing undressed or anything like that. Even there was another video where the care manager at the hospital asked us to make a video for them to put on their website, so other children could see. So, I mean, if I did anything wrong, CPS would have been after me, or, something would have happened. But these were just regular family videos that anybody else would record as well.
And so talk to us about how the judge arrived at the conclusion that the videos that you were posting amounted to the exploitation of your children.
So I had a guardian ad litem, and I will tell anyone today, might not like it, but not to get a guardian ad litem. I had a guardian ad litem. That's a court-appointed attorney. I had to still pay for this attorney, and from day one, her name's Angela Silverstein. She came to our home and she saw that I drove a Range Rover, and she asked me, "How can you afford a Range Rover?" And I'm looking at her like, "Why wouldn't I be able to afford a Range Rover?" So I hired her because my son was abused, and that's when I went into family court. So I'm thinking, okay, well, this woman's going to come in and she's going to fight for my son's best interest. But instead of her fighting for my son's best interest, her whole goal for the last 3-4 years has been looking at my finances. Now, I've showed her my finances. I showed her my finances before social media. I was making 6 figures. I was doing well for myself. And there's been so many things that's happened. Like, I've sent her emails about abuse. The psychologists have talked to her about abuse. The school has talked to her about abuse. And she's never investigated any of it. She just put it to the side. And when I had an attorney, everything was fine. The problem was I went into a 5-day trial with no attorney, going against the mother's attorney and this guardian ad litem. And the guardian ad litem is the one who made this scenario that I'm exploiting my children. I showed that I was, taking care of our home. My sons went to the school. I mean, I'm not even going to talk about how much their private school was for kindergarten. I mean, I provided for my sons. They couldn't show where, like, I made it, had extravagant things for myself. Everything I did was for my sons. But because I had this guardian ad litem, 9 out of 10 when you go into the family court, whatever the guardian ad litem agrees to is usually what the judge agrees with.
Mm-hmm. And so talk to us about what your story means for so many other fathers out there who have or might find themselves in the situation, particularly if you're sharing, videos on TikTok, on Instagram, on the internet of your kids.
Well,
one of the things that you mentioned in some of the articles that have been written about this is that for a lot of us, I mean, we grew up, family camcorders, photographs. I mean, it's not unusual for people to document their kids, growing up.
Right.
What made your situation so dramatically different from so many other people out there who are documenting their kids and sharing video on the internet?
I didn't have an attorney. I went bankrupt over this. I spent over $100,000. It took everything out of me. And like I said, I had to represent myself in court. And even though I proved, like, there's stuff in the order that literally I proved the judge knew, she told the mother this isn't true. That's still in that order. And that's the thing, like I say, about discretion and opinion. It's not factual. The family court doesn't have to be on facts. I mean, anyone can make an allegation against you, and then they can just run with it. And this is why I say, like, it's time that we start speaking up and and exposing what's happening to us behind those closed doors. If you're a father and or a family, and you put your children on social media, that's the law. I mean, you're able to. I mean, there's plenty of laws, that allow you to do that. Exploitation is when you're taking advantage of a child or something like that. They could, they tried to say that my family objected to that. We proved that these were literally just memories that we were taking. There was no, it was literally my phone like this with our pictures. You know what I mean? Like, it was just a regular outing where I was just recording. But if you're a father and you're going through a custody battle, keep your head up. I've started a nonprofit myself, and I talk to fathers daily. And it's hard because most of us don't want to speak up. Most of us don't want to show out, the emotional side. but we got to keep going because our children need us.
The children need you very much indeed. I'm just curious about the money that was made. You mentioned that, a lot of the content that you posted with the twins has, cumulatively gotten over 1 billion views.
Yeah.
I would imagine, people making donations and contributions on the internet as well. What did you do with the money? Do they have a scholarship fund?
Yeah, my boys had a 529. And the thing is, this wasn't going on for years. You know what I mean? Like we got monetized maybe in 2019. And then so it lasted maybe for 2 years. So it wasn't like this was going on for, 10 years or so. Yeah, my sons had a 529. Like I said, they went to that school. That was $4,000 a month for kindergarten. We lived in a affluent community. It was just everyday expenses, but people don't understand how much it costs to be in family court when you have a lawyer that costs $500 an hour. And not to mention, I had a psychologist that I spoke with. I wanted the mother to get evaluated, so I had to be evaluated too. So I'm paying a psychologist $500 an hour to evaluate me, $500 to evaluate their mother, which amounts to $4,000 a month just alone on that. Not to mention that they have to speak to the children and other people. People don't know how much money, it costs to be in family court. So yeah, at the end, when this was, by the time we got to court, I didn't have a savings anymore. The 529 that I had for my sons, I had to use that for court. So it took everything from me. It wasn't, like I lost my home, I lost out my vehicle, and more importantly, I lost my sons, I lost my family. I've gave everything up trying to fight for my sons, and I just don't understand. Like, my sons had everything they could ask for, and now my sons are now, especially when it comes to our kind, like we talk about, we want to do better. We want better for our children. Like, my sons are now on welfare. You know what I mean? Like, my sons are now living in a 2-bedroom apartment, with a total of 4 children with 1 bedroom. They're being left alone at 7 years old. They've been left alone since they were 5. I mean, my sons had everything they could ask for, and now put in a place where they have to depend on the government to take care of them.
Jared, we're gonna pick up right where you leave off right there when we come forward. For folks who are interested in contributing to Jaren's case, he has a Give Send Go. You can go to givesendgo.com/the Hurt Twins to make a contribution. When we come forward, I want you to weigh in on some of the legislation that's afoot in different parts of the country to provide fathers with more custody rights. You are listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. More will come forward.
The audience is listening. Thought-provoking, eye-opening, heart-rendering. This is where authentic voices meet powerful discussions on culture, community, and change. This is where Black voices matter. He's breaking boundaries, amplifying diverse perspectives, and tackling the issues that matter most to you. You're inside A More Perfect Union with Dr. Nee Cordelai-Corte on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. The first Black mayor of Tulsa, Oklahoma is proposing a reparations plan for descendants of the 1921 race massacre. Mayor Monroe Nichols wants a private trust to fund housing and scholarships, no direct cash.
The Greenwood Trust will raise and facilitate the investment of $105 million in private funds along our road to repair, restoration, and right.
The city council must approve any asset transfers. Washington, D.C. has unveiled Mamie Peanut Johnson Plaza, honoring one of just 3 women to play in the Negro Leagues. The 5'3" pitcher had a 33-8 record in the 1950s. Johnson, who died in 2017, is now memorialized in the city she called home. And Wall Street opens higher today after a strong Monday start to June. Investors shrugged off trade tensions and steel stocks soared after President Trump announced 50% tariffs. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Universal City, this is the 101 northbound at Vineland. Brush fire has only the left lane open. Big delays out of Hollywood from Melrose. Southbound slowing out of Agora Hills from Liberty Canyon Road in stretches all the way into downtown Los Angeles. Santa Monica, 10 eastbound loading up at just about 20th Street all the way to the 5 in Boyle Heights. Hawthorne, 105 eastbound. We're going to actually back that up out of El Segundo from Sepulveda Boulevard across all the way to Lakewood Boulevard.
For victims of drunk and drug driving, our grief is unique, but you are not alone. You always have a place at MAD. Call our 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MAD-HELP or visit mad.org.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
Former LA Sparks star Candace Parker has a book on the market. It's called The Can-Do Mindset. The book deals with Parker's legendary basketball career from high school in Chicago to college at Tennessee and her 16 seasons in the WNBA, as well as the triumphs and challenges in her personal life. Parker, now 38, is on track to having a very successful career in broadcasting after retiring from the WNBA in 2024. Parker played 13 of her 16 WNBA seasons with the Sparks. She led the Sparks to the WNBA championship in 2016. She also has won titles with the Chicago Sky and Las Vegas Aces, making her the only player to win a WNBA championship with 3 different teams. The Can-Do Mindset should be a good read about a player many people put in the GOAT conversation as the greatest women's basketball player in the game's history. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
Yeah, y'all, come on. Come to drums.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we fight the power every day.
Yeah, gotta give us what we want. Gotta give us what we need. Hey.
I listen to KBLA and I love the commercials. I know what the commercials mean. I also, if I'm looking and trying to figure something out, I need something to talk to me that might hit me. And it happens on TV because, you know, every time they show a sporting event, they got the pharmaceutical companies back to back telling people how to fix the sickness on the same stuff that they sell them. So we get it.
Yep, we get it too, Chuck D. And that's why at KBLA Talk 1580, we don't black down.
Drop it. Our freedom of speech is freedom of death. We got to fight the powers that be. Fight the power. Fight the power.
Attorney advertising. Prior results do not guarantee future outcomes.
Founded in Los Angeles in 1986, litigation powerhouse Quinn Emanuel has deep roots in the Los Angeles community. Since 2007, we have litigated some of the largest fires on the West Coast. We are proud to be the only AmLaw 100 firm in the country to represent wildfire victims, giving affected individuals, families, and businesses the same focus and individualized attention we devote to our Fortune 500 clients. BTI Consulting has repeatedly recognized Quinn Emanuel as among the 4 law firms in-house counsel least liked to oppose in any litigation, and we are often deemed the most feared. And after securing over $80 billion for our clients in various matters firm-wide, we understand why. If you have been affected by the recent wildfires in Altadena and the Palisades and would like to discuss your situation further, please contact wildfire support at QuinnEmanuel.com or call us at 213-443-3050. Quinn Emanuel is proud to sponsor Conversation Live Altadena Rising with James Farr on KBLA Talk 1580.
Attorney advertising. Prior results do not guarantee future outcomes.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. Worried about eviction? You have rights, and Stay Housed LA can help. Stay Housed LA is a partnership between LA County, the City of Los Angeles, and local service providers. From Lancaster to Long Beach, we're here to help you with tenant education workshops, legal clinics, free legal services for eligible tenants, and online resources about tenant protection laws. Don't face eviction alone. Call our hotline at 1-888-694-0040. That's 1-888-694-0040. Or visit stayhousedla.org. Stay Housed LA, keeping Los Angeles residents in their homes. Stay Housed LA, your rights, your home, our community. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Now back to building a more perfect union on KBLA Talk 1580.
You are listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. I'm Dr. Nicolai Corte, and I'm joined today with Jaron Hurt Sr. He is the father of the Hurt twins, and I first learned about his story just scrolling through social media, as we all do. And I stumbled upon a video featuring your twin boys. And then it was so adorable that I clicked on your link and I started, watching video after video after video. And I just thought it was just so cool to see just a dad and his boys, right? I'm the youngest of 5 boys, and so I can relate to those moments with dad. And then when I learned about your custody battle, it made me want to, learn more about your situation and just sort of how widespread these challenges are across the country in terms of fathers and custody rights.
Yeah, so I'll say this for one, like my story is so wild that their mother made these videos with us. This just wasn't me. Their mother made the videos with us. And then when she left when my sons were 1, and I took care of them until last year by myself. But she had her own social media with the boys, and this still happened to me. But to talk about other fathers, when a mother has a child in almost every state, it's the mother's child. A father doesn't have rights until he puts himself on child support. And what that goes back to is welfare. A lot of people don't know the state gets money from the federal government for giving welfare. And child support basically recoups the welfare. So instead of giving a father 50-50 custody or equal rights, he has to basically pay to get those rights. And when he pays that child support, the state gets money for giving the money to the mother. And then the federal government gives the state money for collecting that child support. So it's literally incentivized. I mean, even judges get 5% of their retirement fund from child support. So a lot of people don't do these things. Yes.
Judges get 5% of their retirement.
Yeah. And not to mention, So let me tell you about this. There's something called a performance enhancement bonus. So let's say you and I were the only ones on child support this year, right? Next year comes about. It's still only us 2. Well, for the state to get a bonus, let's say if we have every week, they have to change it to every other week. And now the federal government gives them a bonus for taking less time from us, which means we have to pay more child support. It's literally called the performance enhancement bonus. So I'm a part of the Good Dad Act. Is with Dr. Bernard Jennings out of Florida. And we passed the law now, the bill in maybe about 10 to 12 states, if I'm not mistaken. It just passed, I think, in New York a couple of days ago. But it's where when fathers go to court, they should, it's equal rights. The father gets 50-50 just like the mother does. And this is what needs to happen in every state, because what's happening in family court isn't in the best interest of our children. It's basically what's in the best interest of the courts. I mean, look what they did to me. 1 billion views on social media, and they made me out to be a monster. And it all goes back to my guardian ad litem, Angela Silverstein. So I'll tell any father, it doesn't matter how much you know the law, have an attorney. Like, don't go in there by yourself, because the judge isn't going to respect you like they will an attorney. You don't know the lingo. It doesn't know, what laws you know. Like I said, because when you go in a family court, it's not due process. It's literally the judge's opinion. So whatever they say is the ruling.
Thank you for mentioning the Good Dad Act, which, as you just said, has been passed in 12 states. Your story is one of too many stories out there of good dads that have gotten caught up in the family court system, that are fighting for custody. And, you mentioned that you've gone bankrupt in the process of fighting for your twin boys. I just want to widen the lens a little bit and just sort of talk about the state of the fight for custody from fathers across the country. We know that Fox 13 in Nashville, Tennessee is reporting that custody battle is brewing in Tennessee. For years, state laws have leaned heavily towards mothers in custody cases, but a new bill at the state capitol could change that starting point for custody battles, giving both parents an equal shot at raising their kids. And so this is very similar to the Good Dad Act you've been talking about.
Yeah, it is. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's almost the same word by word, just a different name. That's all.
And it's House Bill 1131, sponsored by State Representative Antonio Parkinson, a Democrat from Memphis. He proposes that judges begin every child custody case with the presumption of 50-50 parenting time unless there's evidence suggesting otherwise.
Right.
Are there, in addition to some of the reforms that are being pushed on the state level, is there any talk about any federal action that this Congress or this president could do that would make a material difference in the lives of folks like you and others?
Well, there's literally a rally coming up in DC this weekend. It'll be at the National Mall on Saturday. I can't really talk too much about that, but there will be something starting this Saturday. And I want to mention this, like, my fight for my children is not just because I want my children. Me as a man and as a father, my job is to protect my boys. And my sons have been abused. They've been neglected. CPS has told about the abuse, the neglect, and this guardian ad litem has covered it all up. And this is the thing, especially when we talk about our community, we always hear, how bad a child is or how bad our community is. But when you look at it, it's like over 70% in each city where like the crime is like at least 70%. They're coming from single mother homes. They don't have their father figure. And when you don't have the father figure, and this is nothing against moms because I support families. I'm for the children. But when you don't have that father, it's like 9 times more likely to be incarcerated, go through depression. I mean, there's so many things that a child goes through by not having their father around. So it's, sometimes, a lot of the times we need to learn how to take the emotion out of it and do what's in the best interest of our children.
What's your greatest fear and your greatest hope?
My greatest fear, I don't want to say my greatest fear. I try not to think about that because I have faith. My greatest hope is my boys are going to be home and we're going to change this together. My boys and I always said we're going to change the world. That was what I would say for my boys. But now I found my pain has become my passion. And I'm going to change the world for fathers. And we're going to have this 50-50 passed in every state. But again, even if it's 50-50, the judge still has that opinion and still has that discretion. So that's what I would like for it to go to the federal court where the judge's opinion and discretion, at some point we have due process in family court the same way we have it in criminal court.
And what is your greatest hope?
My greatest hope is just to be happy again, to be whole, have my sons home and be able to help other fathers.
When I reached out shortly after looking at some of your social media, I'm like, oh, wow, I definitely want to talk to him on air. One of the things that you said to me that really stuck with me is that you really wanted to be a dad. When people talk about life goals, people talk about career and talk about the car and house and all of that. But you said that one of your life goals was to be a dad.
Yeah, I had my mother and father growing up. I came from 2 different sides, the educated side and the street side. And I felt like something was missing. I didn't feel that unconditional love. Now, I had it from my aunt, but it wasn't my parents, and I learned, I didn't go to school and I didn't go to the streets. I learned I had to make money. I wanted to succeed. I wanted to be successful. So I found my passions other ways and I traveled, I partied, I did everything. I lived a bachelor life. And the only thing that was, it was still something missing. You know what I mean? Like I wanted that unconditional love. I wanted someone to love me the way that I feel like I have, you know what I mean? Like I give. And that happened when I had my sons. And my sons became my world. They are my world. And it's to the point where like my whole life changed when I had my sons. Everything I did was for my sons. Our social media, that gave me the opportunity to give my sons everything. I mean, I did very well for myself, but I couldn't afford that school. even with me working 6 figures. But this gave me the opportunity to put them in a different community, a different, social circle. I mean, it gave me the opportunity to give my sons everything that I wanted. For my sons to be able to come to me and ask me why. As a Black person, a Black child, they never want you to ask why. You know what I'm saying? I taught my children to question things. And this is why they are the way they are, because I spoken into them and I let them ask me questions. You know what I mean? So I didn't train my children. I taught my children. And it just, the bond we had is just, I'm the only thing holding me together now is my nonprofit helping other fathers. It's my sons in my world, brother.
Yeah.
It just hurts, man. And I know I didn't do anything wrong. Anyone that looks at our videos, my sons are my world.
Yeah. Yeah. We feel that. We feel that. I mean, I certainly felt that watching those videos on Instagram and TikTok, and I'm sure anybody that takes a look at the Hurt twins, I mean, they're adorable little guys, and it's clear. It was clear to me the bond that you all shared and the bond that they shared, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's always interesting to me watching twins and how they interact. I mean, that's a life experience that not many of us had.
Yeah.
And it was clear to me that looked out for each other.
Yeah. From the moment that I found out their mother was pregnant, I moved her into my home. We wasn't in a relationship. I moved her in. She had another son. I'm like, look, you don't have to work. I got you. I'm gonna take care of this family. I talked to her belly. I rubbed her belly. I sung to her belly when my boys were born. I mean, you can even go to YouTube and you'll see us in the high chair and me speaking to my sons every day at breakfast, and my sons repeating me. I learned that at a young age. Whatever I say, my sons are going to say. So I would look in a dictionary, for different words. So I could say at breakfast time, and then at dinner time, they would say that word. You know what I mean? And it would be live so people would know. That's how we built this community, our virtual family. And it's just like everything that I've given my sons to be taken away. Like literally CPS has been called on her for not feeding my sons. Like it hurts to even eat. Like just one of my sons okay. Like, and how can family court just do this to a father who has his life online? So imagine a dad that doesn't use social media. You know what I mean? Like he's fighting and he's in this. And like I've seen, like, if any father needs help, please, you can reach out to me at thehurttwins@gmail.com. Like, cause it's rough, brother. My nonprofit, I just wrote a book, a children's book. Like I'm trying everything to stay busy to raise these funds to get my sons back.
And again, for folks who are moved by this story, that is one of many stories of dads fighting for custody of their kids, you can go to givesendgo.com/the Hurt Twins. It's HURTT twins. Again, that is givesendgo.com/the Hurt Twins. If you want to make a contribution in Brother Hurt's fight.
Thank you.
Custody of his twins.
Thank you. And even if it's an attorney, anyone that can help. Like I'm taking all resources. I need help. I mean, I know my rights have been violated. I was asked by the judge if our white neighbors, like my Black sons and I, because we lived on a plantation, I was asked, why do my sons go to Gilman? The elite go there, politicians go there. Why do I want my children in a school like that? I mean, if someone just listened to my transcripts, I mean, your head will turn, in circles. Like it was just wild what happened to us.
Well, folks are listening. Tap in, be a resource. We're a community of leaders, learners, and listeners, and most importantly, doers. And so, Brother Jared Hurt Sr., the father of the Hurt twins, really appreciate you coming here And I want to invite you to come on back when you got an update, not just on your case, but again, on some of the legislation that's afoot across the country and some of the legislation that may be pending federally to support dads in their battle for custody.
I appreciate you. Thank you so much for this opportunity. And God bless you, brother.
Thank you so much. You're listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580, the quiet part out loud when we come forward.
Striving to make America a nation as good as its promise. This is A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Hi, I'm LA City Councilman Curran Price, inviting you to join us on Saturday, June the 14th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. as we cut the ribbon on the brand new Enel Woods Park at 8703 South McKinley Avenue. Thanks to a generous donation from Heal the Bay, the park features smart irrigation, stormwater capture systems, and space for local wildlife to thrive. And we've built a walking trail, picnic areas, native landscaping, and quiet spaces for families to gather, relax, and connect. This is part of a much larger effort to expand green spaces across South LA with 3 new parks in the works, a first-of-its-kind community center coming soon, and plans to connect it all through the South LA Greenway. So mark your calendar for Saturday, June 14th, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m., and come celebrate a greener, stronger South LA at Enel Woods Park. I'm also pleased to sponsor the Climate Justice plus Black Health Symposium, moderated by Tavis Smiley, live on C-SPAN, Wednesday, June the 18th, from 4 to 7 p.m. at the Nate Holden Performing Arts Center. Just a reminder to sign up right away at the KBLA1580.com website to join me, Mayor Karen Bass, Congresswoman Sidney Kamlager Dove, Tennessee State Representative Justin Pearson, Dr. Cornel West, former Congressman Jesse Jackson Jr., the Sierra Club's Ben Jealous, and other Black influencers in the climate and health fields, as we continue to amplify the connection between climate and poor health outcomes for our people. Thank you for listening. I'm Councilman Curran Price.
Pasadena City College is proud to support Conversation Live Altadena Rising with James Farr. For over 100 years, PCC has been a pillar of the community, and we're here for you as we work together to recover from the Eaton fire and rebuild Altadena's future. At PCC, we offer diverse career education programs that prepare you for in-demand jobs, fueling both today's recovery and tomorrow's growth. Whether you're starting a new career or advancing your skills, PCC gives you tools to build your future and your community. Pasadena City College, here for the Dena, here for you. Learn more at pccfordena.com.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. LA County's new Justice Care and Opportunities Department, or JCOD, is here to support justice-involved individuals and their families. The JCOD Support Center is now taking calls at 1-833-LACJCOD. That's 1-833-522-5263. Available 7 days a week from 6 a.m. to 11 p.m., the Support Center is your one-stop shop for re-entry issues and court support. They offer court reminders, connections to local services, transportation assistance for housing, court appearances, and childcare. The JCOD hotline provides personalized help to connect you with services that you need. And don't forget to check out justiceconnect.org for more information. Remember, it's free and available every day at 1-833-522-5263. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
We face tragedy, but we don't fall into despair. We continue our work to build a more perfect union.
You are listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. It's time for the quiet part out loud. What would you do if you received an email from leadership in your organization asking you to take a pledge to them, not to the mission or vision of said organization, or if it's the government, not to the Constitution, but to the president? Well, a very trusted source, has shared with me an email that they are receiving, that federal government employees are receiving, not political appointees, civil servants are receiving from the Trump administration. The email reads in part, going forward to implement Executive Order 14170, all federal job vacancy announcements graded at GS05 or above will include 4 short free response essay questions. In the context of agency leadership, including the agency's political leadership, its CHCOs, its chief operating officers, all the things, they ask question 1, how is your commitment to the Constitution and the founding principles of the United States inspired you to pursue this role within the federal government? Provide a concrete example for professional, academic, or personal experience. They also said, how would you help advance the president's executive orders and policy priorities in this role? Identify 1 or 2 relevant executive orders or policy initiatives that are significant to you and explain how you would help implement them if hired. This is highly unusual. Not every federal job is a political appointment. And for folks who are applying to vacancies in the federal government, the fact they're being asked these questions is otherworldly, to say the least. But people like filmmaker Michael Moore proposed an alternative. They actually proposed that instead of folks sort of taking these MAGA pledges, he proposed a new pledge of allegiance for the country's non-mega heads. The Fahrenheit 9/11 director took to Substack on Monday to post new lyrics he worked up for a pledge of allegiance to those parts of the resistance against President Trump, saying, quotes, what if we all took a new pledge? For you, for me, for the people, and for the country that deep down, in spite of its MAGA heads, in spite of its insanity, we've decided to fight for its survival, holding on to a belief that we can make it better, that we can fix it, that we can end the madness and create a true democracy for which stands. His new lyrics to the Pledge of Allegiance read, I pledge allegiance to the people of the United States of America and the democracy for which we all stand. One person, one vote, one nation, part of one world, everyone, a seat at the table, everyone, a slice of the pie, with liberty and justice, equality and kindness, and the pursuit of happiness for all. Thank you, Michael Moore. A little dose of inspiration. You're listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. More in our second hour when we come forward.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. Local and federal authorities say they busted one of Seattle, Washington's biggest drug rings. 14 people were indicted after wiretaps tracked drugs coming from out of state.
We were able to expand our investigation from the drug distributors up to their sources of supply to cut off the flow of dangerous drugs into the Pacific Northwest and Washington state.
FBI Special Agent in Charge Mike Harrington says 11 were arrested.